So I was sharing, this is how I share, and then I go this. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it now.
You can see it now, good. Okay. How about now? Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, good. Okay. So whenever we upload, look at any web page and load it, the browser will take this HTML and create a tree-like structure, and that is called document object model. And it represents the structure of the document, that's HTML document we are talking about, in a tree-like structure. And each node is an element and attribute. It could be a text also. So DOM basically is a programming interface, and then it's used for HTML and XML. And it allows JavaScript to access and manipulate these documents, content, structure, and style, right? So if you look at here, so browser will take this HTML and it create a document object model, and which is nothing but a tree structure. Now, so JavaScript, we are talking about vanilla JavaScript. So it can change content of the page after we user interaction. Like if we click a button, we can go to different pages or hide some pages. So these are vanilla, right? Vanilla JavaScript without any third party or external library. Now, as the application grows, it gets bigger and complex. So the manipulation of DOM component become quite challenging, and we cannot manage the application. This is where the React comes in. We do not have to worry about query and update the DOM elements. Now, React, we can create small reusable component, and component is in the heart of React. Is very important concept, component architecture. So React takes efficiently creating and updating DOM element. Now, without any third-party library, you see how difficult it is. You have to query every element like button. And then if you want to change in any style, you have to write this many code. And with React, we create components which are modular. We can better organize our code. We can write reusable component, reusable code. And so, like I said, at the heart of React is all React applications are components. Component is basically a piece of code, piece of user interface. We create independent, isolated, reusable component, and then we combine together to build a complex UI. Okay, so every React application should have one component, at least one component it has to have, and that is root component. Now, root component, this represents the whole application. It may contain other component. So like we said that React application is essentially a tree of component, right? So if we are talking about let's say, Twitter, and we can create like navbar, profile, trends, feed. Each one is a different reusable independent component. And then at the top, we have to create a app. This is the root or top level component. And then below we have navbar, profile, all trends and feed. So feed may have several component, tweet component, like here we are talking about this Twitter application, right? So at the top we have to have app, and this is the top level or root, and this is a tree structure, and these are all our children. So app will contain all these component, React component. Now this, like we said, that this is independent component we can reuse in other application. So these individual components is a piece of UI. And we can build this component in isolation and put together to build complex UI. Now this when we try to implement this components, we can use JavaScript class. And a class can have state or data and a method to render. So state is the data that we want to display, and render method is responsible for describing what this UI should look like. So an example is like this. You see the class tweet, it has a state and it has a method render. So this is basically, if we use this class, we are going to create a React element. And this is simple, plain JavaScript object. And this JavaScript object will map to DOM element. Although this is not real DOM element, it's a virtual one. We're going to look at it more, we'll learn more about that. Virtual DOM, a plain JavaScript object that represents that DOM element in the memory. What happened is, like we said, that a HTML page will get converted to a tree-like structure. And then this is a React. First, we'll create a virtual DOM. And then it's a lightweight representation. And so basically this browser or real DOM is different than this virtual DOM. This virtual DOM is cheaper to create. So if anything changes in any of the component, a new React element will be created. Now this new React element will be compared to the previous version of it, and React will do that. Now it will determine what are the changes and what parts need to be updated, and then after it determine what are the component or properties needs to be updated, it will update the real one that runs in the browser. So the real DOM that runs in the browser, that is in the browser, and then virtual DOM, which React create, has to be in sync. Now, like I said, when we run like vanilla or jQuery, uh, we have to do a lot of, like, you have to query, add, event, all those are in vanilla Java. But when we write code in React, we don't have to worry about it. We simply change the state and React will automatically update the virtual DOM to match the state, and eventually it will update the real DOM. So React actually reacts to the change of the state. That is why exactly it is called React. So if we look at this diagram, you have React created this virtual DOM, all these component, React element, and the real DOM, which is in the browser, it will correspond to React element will correspond to DOM element in React real DOM under browser. In this picture, this element got changed, and then React will change this element in the real DOM under browser. So, so that's what I said, that when the state change of a React element, it will update the DOM, and React only takes care of rendering the view, and view has to be in sync with the state. So this is the very reason we have to learn very small API. Only view part it takes care of, and we don't have to learn a lot. But when we build application with React, we need other libraries for routing. Say you want to call HTTP service, we have to have different, library. We have to use different libraries when we're using React. So to understand React and play with it, we have to have some good understanding of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And if you are comfortable, you'll be in the right place to play and write code in React and learn and build upon it. TypeScript is used to write this React element or component. It's a superset of JavaScript. It adds static typing. Why we're using TypeScript? It will help us to catch error earlier in the development process, and it can save us time. So TypeScript is strongly typed superset of JavaScript, and it will compile to plain JavaScript. It was developed by Microsoft, and you see how does it look, TypeScript. It has a lot of advantages, especially in large scale application team environment. So this is a small code written in TypeScript in interface and with one property. Now, so we have to play with React. We have to have a development environment. For that, we need Node.js. You have to have 16 or higher. What is Node.js? It's basically a runtime, right? Environment. We can create server, web apps, CLI with this. Now, how do you check if you have Node on your machine? You go to command prompt and run node-var v. And if you are okay, in my machine I have 22, and if you do not have it, you have to go to nodejs.org and download latest one. Maybe you'll have a newer version. Now, it's not going to impact the material or the code we are using in this presentation. We are using VS Code, and we are going to use Prettier extension. Now, so from the extension panel, we have to search for Prettier and install it. And from the file menu, we go to preference and setting. And in the setting dialog, we say format on save. This is very important. We have to have a maintainable, readable code, and we are using Prettier for that. Every time we save a file, it will be automatically reformatted. And I took some screenshot. This is VS Code, and then this is the extension. You go and search for Prettier, and then you install it, and then how you can see format on save. You have to go file and then preference and setting, and then you can find this format on save, and you have to check this. Okay. And now we have to create a small React application. We can, there is two ways we can create it. That React team created create React app or CRE, or we can use Vite. Now Vite nowadays getting popularity because of this fast. It is very fast and it gives you a smaller bundle. And what is Vite though? It's next generation front end build tool. So it helps streamline the development experience. Okay. Now, from the command line, we have to say run npm create Vite. We are using 4.1.0, or you could use latest. So I'm using here 4.1.0. And then npm will ask you if you want to install this package. We proceed and give a name. We give this project name as a React app. We have to select a framework. I selected React, and then I selected TypeScript as language. Okay. So we have our project created, first project, which is React app project. Now, after project is created, we have to go to that folder and we have to run npm install. That way, all the dependency will be installed. And now we can go to VS Code. You can type code dot. If it doesn't work, you can open it. So to run the web server, we have to run, say, npm run diff, and it will bring up your server on port 5173, and you can go to that location in your browser to see your app up running. Now, what does this npm run diff do? It does execute a predefined script dev that is found in the package JSON file, and it instantiates or initiates a local web server. And we can view that, interact with the application, the browser during development. Okay, it's one of the key feature is it automatically reload application in the browser whenever there is a change, right? And it helps development process a lot. Now let me see. I'll show you my code locally, if I can show you. Okay. Can you see my screen? Hello? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Yeah, I was showing VS Code though. Can you see VS Code?
It's kind of zoomed in.
Oh,
It's still
so
on the Google Slides.
really, okay. Let me see. I'll try one more time. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Now let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
yeah, I can see it.
You can see it. Okay, good. Now,
It's
like we are
it's like move to the right a little bit.
move to the right. So can you see all these files now?
Yeah, but some of it is like cut off by the screen.
Uh,
Oh wait, never mind. That was just me. It's good. It's good.
it's good now? Okay.
Yeah, my fault.
Okay, okay. So when we create, like we are talking about, we are creating a project, right? A React app, and using Vite to create, and then Vite created all these, folder and files over here. So in Node module, you have React and all the libraries over here. You can see React, React DOM, all those libraries are there. And then you have public, all the, in this folder, you'll have all the images, video, all the resources. And then, okay, now in source folder is where we have our source code. Like it's conventional to use a component folder, and in this component folder, I have two component like message and then list, and then these files are automatically created by Vite, and so I deleted all the content over here, and same is here. These files are created automatically. Most important file here is, like we said, top level or app component, right? This is the root of this application. So in here we have list group. I'll go into detail, and then we are just like any HTML, right? We are using this component, and this is this. Okay, let me go in a message. So is here you see that uh, this code is called JSX. I'll go into detail. That is JavaScript XML. It looks HTML, but this is JSX, and it will compile or transpile to JavaScript. So we can create like a variable constant here, name, and then we can replace it dynamically. And we have to use these braces. And this is just one expression. It could be any method call that produces a value. And important part is we have to export it so that this can be used in other component. Just like we are showing, you see, same here, this list group also I created here, list group. And then this is you see that function, we are using function to create React components. So I just fictitious took some element items and we want to display it. So there are many concepts here. So first you have to like import this mouse event, and then fragment, and lot of concepts are in this one small code. You see, you have to return only one element, and to do that, if you can see, you have two elements over here, H1 and then UL, right? And you have to bundle these two so that you are going to return one element. And to bundle it, you are using this fragment. This is fragment, if you can see fragment. So basically it is bundling all this child element into one element, and yeah, it's going to return. You have to return it. And also you see that export default list group. So we are creating element, also we have to export it. Then we can only use it. If you see that list element, I can use it because I exported it from this list group component, right, of file. Now we have to do the same thing over here. You see that app, I'm exporting it. Now this file is very important. Here, if you can see I'll show you the browser application running on the browser. You see that there is an element called div with ID root, right? This is HTML element, and we have a script element, and then you see that over here we are referencing the main TSX, right? And this is the entry point of our application. So what we see on the browser is this HTML, index HTML, and this is important, and this root element, HTML element, act as a container, and this main txt act as an entry point to our application. So there are many, okay, I'll go to main tx. You see that React DOM this is used to create DOM. So we create, you see that React DOM, and its method is called React create root basically, and then we are in the HTML file we have an element with root, right? And we are grabbing that as HTML element, and then we are calling render. And you see that app, this is the tree structure as we are talking about, and we are invoking this app. We are calling app root level, and then this is tree we are bringing and creating a in a structure. So what we are doing is displaying this application with app prop and then message in this app. If we go app, we are displaying this list group, right? And this is our parent, this is our child. And this is a tree structure that we are displaying in this file. And this is our entry point. Let me see if I can share this application running on the browser. Okay. Mm. Share. So this is the list I was talking about. So if you see that few states are there, if we click one of these, and this is the console, how do you get to the console? You just right click, inspect, and then you can go there. And then if you see, if I clicked any of these, it will console log, and I am console logging event. And in the event, you see all the property where we clicked everything. Now, this is on click property, and then what is the targets, everything you can see. Now, let me see if I can go to the main one. Okay. Okay. We just like I said that there are. This is the structure, and that what we have in Node module or the libraries, and this is I showed in my project. These are important files, index, what it contains, package JSON. You have name of the project, all the information about the project, and dependencies. If you look at the dependency, dev dependencies, this is very important. We have React and React DOM and plugin, and currently we are using version 18. So these are very important file and information. And this is tsconfig, and this is the compiler for TypeScript. What are the settings? This information are there. Okay, and then you have wait config, all configuration about the wait. Now, what we are talking about TSX and JSX, I showed in my projects. TSX basically TypeScript JSX, right? And we use TSX for file that contains React component. And this React component we write using TypeScript and JSX. And what is JSX? JSX is JavaScript XML. This is basically a syntax extension of JavaScript. And it's used primarily with React. And we saw that this is HTML-like code, right? But it will compile or transport to regular JavaScript. So JSX is very important in terms of React component. And we use JSX to write reusable independent UI component. And in it you have markup like H1 I just showed you, and you can have logic function in this JSX. Okay, so it has expression like name I showed you. It's an expression. You can dynamically render content, a variable interpretation. You can put logic like click function I'm talking about. I'll show you one more time. So these are the logic you can embed and build to like Babel. It will transfile this JSX to JavaScript. So Babel will be used to transfile this JSX. And JSX code is syntax is very important. And so browser execute React create element to build this DOM. So if we see it here, we have a React component, my component. And then if you can see it, we are using camel case. You see that on click is different than on click. So this is the style it use, JSX will use. This is the convention it use. Okay. And then every component has this property on click, and like I was showing in browser, if I click any of the state, you'll see that what event, some event information about event was popping up. So I can show one more time. So okay, now I showed you that message txt and what is doing. So everything I showed you, we are using Pascal casing. What is Pascal casing? The first word, every first word we are capitalizing. That is Pascal casing. And okay, so let me go one more time to show the functions. These are the all theory behind it. I'll show the function that it will be interesting. Let me show. Okay. So as we are talking about list group, right? All the state we try to display. So you see here handle click is a event handler. It's handling click, right? And we are passing this event, mouse event, and then we are displaying it. Now here this is a boolean and we are using AND operator. If this is true, this P or paragraph element will be displayed. And if this is false, not the whole thing will be false, thing will be displayed. So these are the class, this I borrowed from Bootstrap. I'll show you. And then this is, so some of the concept here, if you want to write any code in JSX, you have to have braces. Other than that, you'll give you cannot write like this. You have to have a brace. So this will give you compilation error. Some of the concept I wanted to describe, that's why I kept these codes. So just like that. So I'm commenting out. And so there is a on click that property, and you can pass any parameter like event here, and we can display any information about console log about event. It has so many property, everything. Now we can also use this item and index, and then display information about that. Console logout, we can do that. And then one important concept is key, is very important. You have to have this key. Other than that, you are going to some warning, because you see there is a virtual DOM and then real DOM. So React wants to keep track what are the components are being changed. So it will keep track of the item. And then if I want to add or remove any item, it will keep track with the key. So this key is very important. We have to have key. So as a key, we are giving each item, right? All this item. And this is items array. And if you can see, in items, we are using map function. And in map function method, we are using sending a arrow function. Arrow function, if you are familiar with arrow or not. So this arrow function, and we are accessing each and every item, and we are passing as a key. And this each and every item is getting to map. What does map do? It convert one type of element to a different type of element. So we are taking each and every item and we are creating list element. If you can see li, right? List element. So we are using item as a key, so that we have that requirement of React, that we have to have a key so that it can keep track. So we have that key, and then we have access to our each and every item. So since we have access, we can console log this. So I'm not. I when I was playing, I did use this, and I just commented out. So this is how we can log our console log item and index, right? Now, another very important, see here, we are just passing reference. You are not calling to, right? If you want to call, you have to say this, but we cannot do that. So we are just sending a reference, so that whenever a user click on any item, this function will be called, and this is a arrow function. So we could write a function like so here. You see that arrow function over here, we can do that. But if the function gets bigger, it will be inconvenient. And so that's why we use a convention over here. You see that click even, I wrote a arrow function over here. It can be bigger. It will be cumbersome if I want to write this function, inline function, right? So we are just creating a function over there, and we are using reference over here. So basically, and then like I showed you, every time you click any click on any item, let me clear one more time. And then if you click any item, I'm printing that event and all the information about that event. So, okay. If I go back to, okay. These slides are in greater detail, the theory behind it. And then, like I said, we have our app root component, message child component, and each and every time say name, I change it, it will be changed. And then React will compare this version with the previous one, and it will find that age has been changed. So React DOM will go ahead and change H1 in the real DOM, which is in the browser. I hope this concept is clear with you. And if you have any question, I'll be more than happy to answer. So we talked a lot about virtual DOM, real DOM, and then React and React DOM. These two library work together. They work together and they update the real DOM to be in sync with the virtual DOM. I think I showed most of the code, and then this is in detail the theory, right? And React and other front end, if you want to compare, we have Angular, we have Vue. What is the difference between React and Angular? So difference is, like we said, React is a library, and then Angular or Vue are framework, complete solution. It has lots of tool, guidelines, feature, and React is act as a library, and it specializes displaying view part of it. Okay. Now, okay. So there are like how we are going to route to another page, HTTP calls, state internationalization. These are advanced topics. And then for these, we cannot use only React. We have to have like a third-party library. And if we are talking about Angular, these are built in. You'll have everything with Angular. So one thing good about it, you have just library, you can pick and choose anything you like. Like for example, if you want for routing, you can pick a third-party library of your liking. So it's not a good, bad thing at all. And so we saw our project application, then we saw how this is detail how step by step, when you build each component, each application. Then I talk about this, Bootstrap for this CSS. And this is CSS library, a lot of good classes you have for styling. And to install it, you have to run install Bootstrap. And version is 5.2.3. Now, so I think most of it I already covered. These are details step by step, and the code I was showing in list group, I borrowed it from this site, and there is a markup you borrow, and then after you borrow it, you'll get a lot of error because you'll see some class over there, and this class name you have to say in JSX. So this is a reserved word for class. In JSX, you have to say class name, just like on click. So, okay, I think I cover all of it. So this is the site you can go. This is Bootstrap. You can go and can pick anything, like here I grabbed list group. So you can grab this code and then import in your component you're creating, and you can play with it. A lot of help you can get from here. Okay, I talked about fragment, everything. I covered all those. Now we did talk about dynamically how can we render, because we created a array with the string, right? We talked about those. I showed in the code. We use prettier. Everything is detailed, whatever I said. Now we can, if we can use if condition, like if the length of this array is 0, we have to give different message like no item found. I showed you that Boolean true and the element. If it is false, nothing will be displayed on the UI. So we talked about clicked event in the code. We showed that. And this is called okay. So I keep a screenshot without any bootstrap styling. This is how it is. And when you use bootstrap styling, you see that how it comes in beautiful format. And it's a very useful tool, library, bootstrap for styling. I think I covered most of it. If you have any question, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer. Was it too difficult to understand the concept? I'll be happy to share my presentation. You can, follow step by step all the key fundamental, concept, JSX, TSX, all those things. I can share this presentation.
I think one of the parts.
Jazakallah. I think that would be good, inshallah. And also, we have a lot of high school students. Also, if you can summarize that, what are the use case, or is there any application that you can perhaps elaborate and tell them this is how you can use this tool to getting the project? Anything that you feel like that these high school students can be.
Basically, this is UI, user interface, right? Like JavaScript, we use HTML, CSS, and React is built on top of, like, React is a library, and then it uses TypeScript. Basically, when you want to develop a UI, user interface, you use React, and nowadays it's very popular technology, very popular nowadays.
Now the user interface here,
Yeah,
it just facilitates the data crunch, number crunching, and brings the data the way the user wants. Is that what it does?
user interface could be, let's say we are talking about we are talking about Twitter, right? It's a user interface, and it has like nav is a component. You can create a nav bar, you can create a like, you can create a tweet, and using JavaScript function, you create these React components, and you put together under the umbrella of app component. Let me share the presentation. That way it will be a lot easier.
Inshallah. If you could, yeah, that would be good. We'll share this thing with that.
Okay. And if you have any question, please feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy to answer, and chat also, or later I can answer those questions. Thank you very much.